How good is it watching Phil Foden play football with a smile on his face? It doesn't matter who the opponents are. That is always a joy to watch. And against Wydad Casablanca, Phil Foden was certainly smiling when he was playing football. Welcome back to the City Ramble. We are going to be reviewing Manchester City's first match of the Club World Cup, going through it, trying to figure out, what can we take away from it? Can we take anything away from it? But yeah, City beating Wydad Casablanca 2-0. Obviously, an early goal for Phil Foden. He gets on the score sheet after 2 minutes. And then people thinking, is this going to be a rout? If you follow City Ramble on social media, you'd have seen in our pre-match predictions that Luke Bardsley, who is a contributor on the podcast, said something along the lines of, this could be 7-0. I think he predicted the 7-0 scoreline. The others were like 3-0, 4-0. Basically expecting a few goals from a City point of view, but it was only after that second minute goal until the 42nd minute where Jeremy Doku gets on the score sheet, scoring from a corner. I don't know why. I never thought I would say Jeremy Doku has scored directly. Well, not directly, but directly off a cross from a corner. And then obviously the second half is pretty much, I guess the result was kind of done and dusted. Although fair play to Wydad Casablanca, I thought they were adventurous at times. They could have, in that first half, possibly had 2 goals themselves, if not even 3. But yeah, let's start with the positives. Obviously, I've mentioned Phil Foden there. For me, I said in one of the preview videos on this channel, which, by the way, if you're not, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We'll be ramping up the content throughout the Club World Cup and the summer transfer window. I said that I'm looking forward to seeing Phil Foden play because it doesn't matter necessarily who the opponent is when you've kind of been in a bit of a rut like Phil Foden has. You just want to be finding your confidence. You just want to be happy playing football, and that's kind of what I'm hoping we'll get from this tournament with Phil Foden. So yeah, that was certainly positive. But for me, the man I would have given man of the match to, even though Foden obviously got the goal and the assist, is Tajani Reijnders, because how about that for a debut? And look, let's get the caveats out of the way to begin with. They're obviously, the standard of opposition is obviously lower than what City will be playing against week in, week out in the Premier League and the Champions League, etc. But even still, you've got to have that energy, you've got to have that athleticism, and that is something that Tajani Reijnders, operating in maybe an unusual position, a position we wouldn't necessarily see him play, I don't think, regularly, when he sort of does start getting going for City in the Premier League and the Champions League. I expect him to be more of that sort of box-to-box arriving late in the box, getting goals, etc. But he was more of that sort of tempo setter, wasn't he, against Wydad? He was sitting a bit deeper, he was getting on the ball, he was sort of spreading passes and also cleaning up counter-attacks as well. So maybe you can do both. Maybe City have got a sort of a versatile midfielder there, capable of playing several different positions. But yeah, I thought he was absolutely superb. Some statistics of football. He had 92% pass accuracy rating, 68 passes, 74 of them attempted, 68 completed, that is. Created one chance, he had a shot from range, it got blocked though. 82 touches, successful dribbles, 100%, although only one. He registered 8 passes into the final third. So all in all, a real positive performance from Tajani Reijnders, and I think it'll be really interesting to see sort of how his performances develop in this competition, and then obviously going into the season as well, where I feel like he's going to be a big part of City in this next season, because, well, you look at that midfield, he kind of has to be. You spend the money, you're going to have to bring somebody in because that midfield is in need of legs. Otherwise, performances from the first half, Jeremy Doku, obviously lively, he was getting plenty of the ball. Savinho, getting into good positions, but as always with Savinho, you just kind of wanting a little bit more in terms of end product. Ryan Cherky was the other debutant. No Ryan Aït-Nouri, he didn't see the pitch at all, but Ryan Cherky did start. And look, it was, compared to Tajani Reijnders, it was, I guess, a little underwhelming, but it was the first start for City. You could tell he was maybe a little bit nervous, he was trying the flicks, and to be honest, if you've watched any videos that we've done on him on this channel, or you watched any other sort of analysis, that obviously you want him to get better, and I'm sure he will get better. But that's kind of the player he is. He is going to be that sort of maverick player. He is going to be the one trying to pull stuff off. He's a playmaker at the end of the day, and so if 5 of those flicks in the final third, as he's sort of trying to feed the ball into City attackers, pull off, you look at the compilation going, he's had a man of the match performance. It's only because, the margins, they didn't quite come off. And that's kind of what you get from that position. 74% pass accuracy rating, only attempted 27 passes. But that's standard numbers really for sort of a player operating in the final third. I wonder if we sort of see him maybe in future matches coming off the right hand side a little bit more. I know he did drift over to interestingly, I think it was the left hand side at one point. So whether or not that's something Guardiola's looking to trial, I possibly would like to see him sort of in that sort of right hand side half space at times. The back four of Rico Lewis, Vita Rice, Nathan Ake, and Nico O'Reilly played 90 minutes. Obviously, that ludicrous red card for Rico Lewis at the end. The thing is, for me, like, if you make contact with someone's head, whatever, like, you get it, red card. But he'd already completed the tackle, and it wasn't like he'd left his leg in there specifically to hurt it. It was genuinely, he got to the ball first, he made that tackle, and it just so happened to be the guy's head was there basically at the level of his foot, which, you know, like I said, if it's a high foot and you make contact with the head, whatever, that you know, that you can see why that's a red card. Or if you're leaning up and it's in a dangerous position. Rico Lewis was sliding on the floor. You are allowed to slide tackle in football. It is in the rules. You know, you don't have to stay on your feet at all times. He got the ball. It wasn't like he got the man and then the head. He got the ball. So I just don't understand why that was given as a red card. And you might say, oh, well, does it really matter? Club World Cup, blah, blah, blah. I do feel a bit sorry for him because that means he'll be suspended for the game against Al Ain in City's next group match. Then it's Juventus, which you'd maybe say you'd get a bit of a stronger starting 11 for that one. And then you're into the knockouts where, again, you're probably looking at playing your strongest team. So I imagine he would play again throughout this tournament. But you could tell he was a bit gutted as well because he felt like, oh, yeah, okay, I've not played a lot in the back end of the Premier League season. I want to make a difference. I want to make a sort of an impact and make my case known and show Guardiola that I can still, you know, I'm still worthwhile to this team. Anyway, I feel sorry for him. In terms of substitutes that came on, obviously Matheus Nunes replaced him very, very late on, so we didn't necessarily get to see him. Erling Haaland, Oscar Bob, Rodri and Gundogan were the players who came on in that second half. Nothing really to report, really. Obviously, Rodri played. You could kind of see the skeleton of the basis of what he was used to be like was still there, which was promising, but very rusty. And I think that's, again, speaking about Phil Foden, getting the best out of this tournament for him. I think for Rodri as well, getting him back up to match speed, competitive football, that's going to be a really important part of City heading into the Premier League season. 2-0 win. Should we do some player ratings then? Just rapid. Ederson did make a decent save, to be fair to him. A couple of decent saves, actually. So I'll give Ederson a 7 out of 10. Rico Lewis, 6. Red card notwithstanding. He was tidy in possession, but nothing too spectacular. Vita Rice, I'll go 7. Nathan Ake, I'll go 7. Nico O'Reilly, I'll go 6. I reckon Rico Lewis and Nico O'Reilly are pretty similar. Tijani Reijnders, for me, 8.5. Is that fair? I don't want to go too high. I don't want to go 9 or, obviously it wasn't a 10 out of 10 performance, but I just think considering the sort of making you first start for a new club, I thought that was good. Jeremy Doku, I'll go 7.5. Phil Foden, I'll match him with Tijani Reijnders for an 8.5, but I'll say that Tijani gets my man of the match. Ryan Cherki, I'm going 6. Savinho, bit higher, 7. Marmouche, I reckon he was lively at times. 6.5, no, 7. 7 will be kind. It's the sun's shining here, so we'll be the summer's starting, so we'll be kind. In terms of the guys coming off the bench, I guess all 6s really, apart from Nunes, who you just can't rate. But a decent start there for City, obviously. Getting a win on the board. Maybe goal difference comes into play a little bit. That's something to see. The game against Juventus being last will probably be a shootout for top spot. And I assume goal difference is one of the tiebreakers in the Club World Cup. And if that's the case, then City and Juventus both beat Wydad Casablanca and Al Ain, then maybe goal difference does come into it. But yeah, first game of the tournament, in terms of the concept itself, I said on another video, I'm happy for it. I'm excited for it. I want City to win it. There are a few gimmicky parts. Don't get me wrong, those player walkouts, they need to stop. Not a fan of them at all. But overall, hey, Manchester City winning matches of football isn't something that we got to say all too often last season. So I am going to be happy about it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit a like. Let us know if you want to see more of these sort of quick fire match reviews, getting all of the talking points out there in 10 minutes. If you want more of an in-depth analysis of this match, make sure to check the City Ramble podcast feed wherever you get your podcast from, because we've got a 45-minute episode that's gone out there speaking about this game and looking ahead to City's sort of next few matches as well. And yeah, in the meantime, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the like button, and we will see you later.